Before we dive into the act of finding a funder and writing a proposal, let's spend a minute talking about what funders are actually looking for. If you put yourself in the mindset of a funder, it will help you not only find the best funders for your project, but also to write a more compelling proposal. At their heart, most funders act like regular people when it comes to parting with their money. They want to know that they've made a good investment. More specifically, they want to know that their funding resulted in a specific set of activities that generated a specific set of outcomes. They want to know that kids learned how to read, or that a community had clean water, or that moms had proper health care for their new babies. So before you go asking for funding, you need to be clear in your own mind how that money is going to be used, especially since you're going to be explaining that in your proposal. Now, there are several types of things that you can request funding for. Using our homeless moms example, maybe the funding would pay for a case manager or parts of multiple staff people who will help the moms, or maybe it would be used to rent an apartment or purchase groceries or pay for community health services or transportation or job training or even a computer system to help manage volunteers. Now, you should know from the outset that some funders will not want to pay for certain things. Some funders are really hesitant to fund staff positions, especially full-time staff positions. They know that at some point their funding is likely to go away, and they don't want to be responsible for someone losing their jobs. Some funders also prefer to fund direct services over infrastructure. They don't like to pay for administrative expense or office space or IT systems or marketing functions, even though most nonprofits desperately need all of those things to sustain and grow. So, before you submit a grant, it's important to know what a funder will or won't fund. Now, we're going to come back to this funding, activities, outcomes pathway over and over again as we get into the details of writing a proposal. So now is the time to permanently lock it away in your brain. Think like a funder. Ideally, this pathway will be consistent both with your organizational mission, your organizational needs, and the priorities of the funder. That is your sweet spot. And that brings me to another point that I can't say enough. Your funding request should come out of an organizational need that is based on an organizational strategic plan. If you want to be a successful nonprofit that grows over time, you need to have a strategy in place that drives all of your organizational decisions, which in turn drive your programs and your funding needs. Not only is having a solid strategic plan critical internally, but it's a highly compelling anchor that lets funders know that you're serious about your mission, your services, and how you're planning to spend their money. So in our homeless moms example again, our overall mission may be to help homeless moms get on the path to self-sufficiency, but a strategic plan on which we can anchor a funding request would be something more like this. Over the next 3 years, we will reach 30 homeless mothers in our county with holistic housing, health, education, and job training services for them and their families. To achieve this goal, we will hire 2 full-time case managers and a project supervisor. We will support these mothers by subsidizing 6 months of housing, a job training program, connection to public health benefits, and transportation to all of the above. Having a strategic plan like this not only helps you know what you still need funding for, but it lets a funder know that their funding has a specific role and purpose in a larger effort. So here's your homework for this session. How would your organization spend the following amounts of money? $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, and $100,000. Answer each of those with as much specificity and as much relationship to your organizational strategy and needs as you can. This is a really useful exercise because you'll want to have these common amounts in mind as you begin talking to funders.